town at the Toronto International Film Festival, we have with us Mr. Aamir Bashir, the director of Harud. Autumn. Welcome, Aamir.
Thank you.
How are your time in Toronto so far?
Fantastic. I mean, I think I couldn't have picked a better place to show my film. The world premiere happened here. It was packed house, and the audience here is very open to any kind of cinematic experience and very generous, very engaging. So it's been we couldn't have asked for more. I just realized all my films have English titles, even if they were not English films in English. Yeah. Well, the transition actually it wasn't planned. I had no ambition as such of turning director or making films, but I think in 2003 it just the story just happened. In like within moments, I had like the beginning, middle, and end, and it seemed even in those 15 minutes it seemed pretty cinematic to me. But it took a long time. It took a long time to translate that idea onto paper, into a script. About 4 years, and so it wasn't like, okay, now today I'm going to make a film. I'm an actor, I can make a film. It wasn't like that, because I realized while writing the script that writing on the one hand is one thing if you're writing a story, but writing a screenplay so that you're able to translate it onto a screen is something totally different. Films are sort of the opposite of, say, literature. When you're reading a book, the imagery is yours. You create the images. Whereas when you see a film, it's more like you're given the images, so you have to come up with the text in a sense. So it's like, yeah, so that's the engagement. So that's what the process was, trying to make it as cinematic as possible. And at the end of the day, after working for 4 years, we had a screenplay that was just 55 pages. Reached boiling point now. I think in the last 3 months, the incidents that have been taking place in Kashmir, which is basically a public uprising against the state, and it has never been so widespread. It has never been able to sustain itself for so long, and about more than 80 people have died in the last 3 months. Most of them were teenagers. There were at least four or five who were below teens. In fact, just 2 days ago, another 9-year-old died, and all of them shot, and not a single casualty within these 3 months on the security forces side. So the sentiment firstly has changed. If you know the beginning of this insurgency, it was a violent one. People picked up weapons to fight the state, and now it has come to a stage where it's completely peaceful. All they have is stones. They are not using guns, and they are not retaliating the way they would have earlier.
What led you to choose Raza for the role?
It was just an out-of-the-box kind of decision we took about a month before our shoot. I had worked with Majid Majidi a little bit. I had done some research for him for a project that he was planning in India, and I just felt that we needed somebody with a weathered face, Kashmiri looking, obviously, if he has to be from outside, but a weathered face. He had to be a good actor. This was the only role which we felt that we needed a really good actor, because the psychological decay that I'm talking about has to be depicted through him.
So you didn't think for a moment that you would use maybe a local there who is actually living in that area?
We did, but we also thought that because, like I said, we needed an actor as well. But the local actors have been working in the local state television and doing some theatre, so their reference of this kind of cinema is not there. I mean, I had difficulty with the rest of the actors. I mean, they were all non-actors. All the Kashmiris actually I picked were non-actors. So I just felt that I wasn't prepared for this particular role to go that distance, because I just didn't have the time. So dealing with non-actors, the younger lot, and the mother, and Shine's character, for example, they were all non-actors. The first time they were acting in front of the camera, and so I needed somebody who would make things easier for me as well. And getting a local actor did not make sense, because then he would have performed, whereas the non-actors came across as far more natural.
Yeah.
So, and because Raza Naji comes from a film tradition where performance is not emphasized upon, everything is so naturalistic, I think, and also the language barrier actually made more sense, because we almost treated him as one with the non-actors, because we were not being able to communicate fully. We were doing it through an interpreter. I think 2011, once we earn more, word of mouth publicity, since we don't have a big publicity budget, I think that would help in getting a release in India as well.
I'm sure it'll do well, very, very well internationally. Thank you for giving us the time to sit down and talk to us, and we wish you all the best in your film.
Thanks a lot.